do I think Richard Mille watches are worth $1 million? Probably not. They're not even, for the most part, they don't make their in-house movements. So let's just get that off the table. Their movements are from AP. So they're charging crazy money for movements that are not in-house. I mean, you just got to keep the hate consistent, right?
Welcome back. You're now watching Due Time Presents The Watchers. I'm your host, Rod Dye, a.k.a. Rod the Watcher. And I'm here with the one, the only, Rio the Watcher. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm great, my brother. How about yourself?
Man, doing very well. Very blessed. And today we have not only a friend of the program, also new member of the Due Time family. We have Dave the Watch Dude. How you doing, Dave?
What's going on, Dave?
Fantastic, man. I'm doing great. Even better that I'm here with you guys on this beautiful Saturday, man. I can't wait. I'm ready to dig in. Let's go.
We got a lot in store, man. Got a lot in store. And before we go any further, we got to see what's on wrist. I kind of got an idea what you guys bringing to the table today. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just jump into it, man. We got the Fierce Jump Hour, Brunswick. Barley corn plum dial.
That plum.
Yeah.
Is that a new strap?
So it comes with the burgundy strap. It also comes with the this gray strap here. So I decided to put the gray strap on the watch today, just to switch it up, show some contrast. Nice. And this is a good piece. Just wanted something different, man. Got a few watches in the collection now and have my eyes on it. So I'm looking at it for a while.
That's your first jump hour?
The first one, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The first one. So it's
you came out swinging on that.
Man, solid piece, man. When I seen it, I was kind of apprehensive about, the brand at first, but once I laid eyes on it and actually had it on wrist, I'm like, I need to go ahead and grab it. So of course I purchased it correctly at my AD.
Okay.
gotta buy your watches in a way that makes sense. So Fierce Jump Hour.
Congrats.
What you got on wrist today, man?
Rio, what you on?
So I have the Rolex GMT Master 2, reference number 126711CHNR. It's a 2023. They call it the root beer.
Okay. Come on, man.
So shout out to my partnership with Asher and Gamzo and Co. We're building a relationship right now where I'm just helping good people get into good watches through good dealers, and just kind of using my platform to just to be a connector and a bridge for people. I'm not a dealer yet or anything like that, but what I am doing is just being a stage. And he sent me out a couple of watches to get hands on, to do more content with, and then people have the ability to purchase said watches as well. You know what I mean? So anything that people purchase through me, it supports what I'm doing on my platform and our platform so that we can able to grow and continue to do the thing that we love. So
I've been seeing some good deals, man. You've been throwing out there too, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like this.
Yes. And honestly, if somebody reach out to me and said they watched the podcast, they might get an even better deal. So you know what I mean? So I'm willing to work with people,
You heard it. You heard it from the man right there.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, and inquire about the timepieces, man.
Absolutely.
They definitely have some heat for sure. So, man, looking forward to what's to come from that relationship.
Real beer, though, man. You had to do it with me on that real beer.
I'm gonna let you check it out when I see you.
Sure. Yeah, man. I need to add one. So
what you got on, man?
Oh man, you know what I got on, man. This is that Hublot Big Bang.
Hey.
The world's most hated or hated on, right?
Hated. Yeah.
I love
most
it.
Hated, man. Now, how you've had the Hublot for a while, but how's your experience been with it? Actually having it on wrist, and do you think that the negative sentiments around Hublot, you think it's overblown?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I understand where people are coming from with the I think with the pricing is probably what people are what it really boils down to, right? You got the pricing. They have modified Salida movements, and the pricing for them is on the higher end. I get that. What I can say is that the brand is just so young. You know what I mean? They're only 30 years in the game, 40 years in the game, actively doing watches for 30. So in that short span of time, I mean, like, I feel like any up and coming brand is going to start with an off the shelf movement. Like, nobody's coming out with an in-house movement. I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but as a brand, that's kind of a starting point for anybody. So, the level of finishing, I think, all of that other stuff, I think that's somewhat subjective in certain people's eyes, and the design, and I get it. Not everybody's into the design of, Hublot. Just like not everybody's into Richard Mille, just like not everybody's into, everybody's got their own flavor. But what I can say is current day Hublot, they have two in-house movements, the Unico, and they've got the Mecca. I mean, in 30 years, they created two in-house movements. They've continuously leveled up and innovated. They might be the most, I was thinking about this the other day, they might be the most innovative brand. I'm talking about just innovations in the last 30 years than any other brand that I could think of. I mean, they've created all these crazy different materials, like use of sapphire. They're the ones that started the whole rubber band, silicone bands. They started that, So, I mean, if you take all those things and what they're kind of checking off, I mean, that's a lot to say about a brand, But I get the hate though, and I don't necessarily. Sometimes I don't necessarily disagree on the pricing. Sometimes, but the pricing is always relevant to the market. So, I mean, I could say the same thing about Richard Mille. Do I think Richard Mille watches are worth $1 million? Probably not. They don't use any, and they're not even, for the most part, they don't make their in-house movements. So let's just get that off the table. Their movements are from AP. So they're charging crazy money for movements that are not in-house. I mean, like you just got to keep the hate consistent, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, because it seems to be such a trend with Hublot, because let's just, it's Nico, obviously. He's the one that I feel like for the most part kind of started that whole wave and continue to roll with it. But I mean, you can't just hate on this brand and not hate on the other brands if that's what your criteria is.
I think people are very selective in their outrage and what they choose to, go against. Obviously, for Nico, I mean, he built this brand off the back of like hating Hublot, even if it was, maybe justified or not justified. But I don't know. Like you said, even with, like you said, like with like RM, they don't make their own in-house movements, but people love them, But that's the same exact, like, well, it's not the only thing, but they attack Jacob and Co. for the same thing because they don't make their own movements in-house. It's like, neither do a lot of your other favorite brands. Like a lot of the things that they bring up about Hublot, is like maybe for like their like entry level like models, but like you said, like they've designed in-house movements. They've fostered a lot of innovation within, the watch industry. And I don't know, people just kind of they just stick to like these old narratives, like, and like a lot of other brands as well. It's just like, I don't know, people don't think for themselves. And that's how those are like the casuals, right? They just kind of just take the headline and just kind of just like run with that instead of just like looking into it for themselves. And it's like, if you actually had it on wrist and took time to, this is like, it took time to actually, look into the brand and, wear the watch and, experience it for yourself, you probably could develop your own opinion. But
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, all I could say is it works for me. I love the design. I love the skeletonized design. I like the design of the pieces, period. It's kind of got this masculineness that, you see in like Hublot and like AP. I appreciate that kind of design, but I also understand that it's not for everybody. So, I mean, my only thing, I guess, is like, you can not like the design. You can say the designs suck. Okay. But you can't say the watches suck. Like these watches do not suck. I could promise you that. Like these watches, innovation, in-house movements, they're doing everything right, in my opinion.
Dave, you fresh off the plane, man. You fresh off the plane. Just got back to the States recently, man. So for the audience, Dave attended his first Watches and Wonders this year in Geneva. And for those who may not know what Watches and Wonders is an annual exhibition in the world of horology where the world's top horological brands and horological houses showcase their upcoming releases, their new innovations in an exhibition conference, in Geneva, where there's, where the world of horology, watch lovers, watchmakers, content creators, everyone converges in Geneva for the week. And it's a great time. Like I said, I haven't been there. So it looks like a great time, should I say? But Dave, he's fortunate enough to go this year, and let's get straight to it, man. First off, how was your first Watches and Wonders, man? What compelled you to go this year?
I just had like an opportunity to go this year, really. To be honest with you, it was more of an opportunity, between work and family. I've had kind of a lot of things going on. Last year, my wife was pregnant. We since welcomed a baby boy who came with us at 6 months old, and he held it down like a trooper. My daughter, she came with me. She's 16. So it was more about like an opportunity to go. And then, it was something that I've always wanted to do. We were definitely past due for a vacation anyways. So it wasn't just Watches and Wonders. It was part of our vacation. We went to Watches and Wonders. We were in Geneva for 3 days. And then after that, we kind of bounced around Switzerland and did the whole vacation thing and shot over to Paris, France. So it was a combination of a few things. And I'm not going to say like I did design it that way to like just so happen to be on during Watches and Wonders. Like, so I wanted to make that a part of my vacation. But, that's more about timing than anything else, the availability. So
smart man.
Yeah.
Smart way to fit. You got to fit the family in and say, oh, just so happens.
Yeah,
Watches and Wonders. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it was definitely part of the conversation. I had to sweeten the deal up a little bit for my wife and for my daughter to, kind of convince them that this was a great idea. But I think after they've went and experienced it now, I think they want to go back. Just put it that way.
Wow. Tell us a little bit more. I mean, so, preconceived stuff like, okay, you wanted to go there, you wanted to see different things. Just walk us through your experience of first getting to the convention. So like, what was that like and what did you see? And
so, yeah. And backing up to that. So once you get everything booked, what you want to do immediately, and what I suggest is, and this is an insider tip that I didn't know about at the moment that I booked Watches and Wonders, is that, so the convention is obviously open. It's an open format. You can walk in through the doors and go to any of these exhibitions. You get in line if there's a line, and you can walk in, right? Walking in, though, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get hands-on with the watches. Most of them are just on a display, right? But they do have opportunities for you. They call them product presentations. Now, these have to be booked prior to Watches and Wonders. Watches and Wonders, once you book everything, they'll send you an invite to download their app. And on the app is when you go in through the app and you can book these product presentations. They're all like 15-minute slots for the most part, where you can actually come in, small group of people, and get hands-on with their new releases. Those fill up really quickly for the big brands. I wasn't really able to get too many big brands at all. Most of them were the smaller brands for the most part that I was able to get down. Like I got Mosier. I did get Mosier. Had a couple of them. They do have some wait lists. If they do fill up, you can potentially get on a wait list and get selected if something opens up. But that's an insider tip for sure. The minute
there's always a wait list.
Yeah,
There's always gonna be a waiting list, brother.
that wait list, bro. But so the minute you get that invite to download the app, I highly suggest immediately going in there and starting to get your agenda together by doing the product presentations, if that's something that you want to do.
Got you. So where was one of the places you was looking forward to going to first?
So funny enough, like I was most interested personally in the smaller niche brands.
Okay.
Really because I don't get to see those brands. You know what I mean? Like Rolex had like a 2-hour wait line. And I got another tip for that too. But Rolex, most of the bigger brands, like they have these giant wait lines. And I'm like, bro, I could probably see most of these new release watches at some point at my AD. So with the exception of probably the off catalog pieces. And don't get me wrong, they still put on like a really good exhibition. Like these exhibitions are grandiose. Like there are a lot of visual art going on and just kind of big setups. You guys have been to probably plenty of conventions being in the industry that you're in where, they'll set up these big exhibitions and so big, beautiful exhibitions, man. Like that's probably the plus side to going to a bigger brand is the bigger the brand is, the more grandiose the exhibition is and the more space they have too. The way it's kind of broken up is smaller brands have smaller booths, but they don't really have a big exhibition. It's more like just kind of like you walk in and they have things in a display case for the most part. And then they have what takes up the majority of the spaces is like the big exhibitions, the APs, the Rolexes, Bulgari. I mean, every single one I can I was going to pull up and show you guys. Might be hard to catch on the camera, but that's basically a layout. Every one of those boxes that you see is a different brand and a different exhibition. So they have like right here, this is a mezzanine, and like this is a bunch of smaller brands. If you could see how like the boxes on there, they're smaller little boxes. So, if anybody's ever been to a convention, they're probably familiar with this format. But going back to your question, what I was most excited about was getting into some of these smaller brands that I have seen but never got hands-on with. And I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of that. Don't get me wrong, I still went to a bunch of the bigger brands. I was super excited about AP because that was their first time there it's their first time back in a while, put it that way. AP was cool. Rolex, of course. Tudor had a really great show and exhibition as well. And then, I tried to freaking hit as many as I could, bro. Like I was running around that joint.
No, so I want to ask you as far as, okay, now, so you're in there. Obviously we've discussed, the brand appointments and, the dividing and conquering, your family going off, getting the swag and all that. Let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's talk about the highlights of Watches and Wonders, man. So what brands do you feel had the best showing? Not just the best displays, the best exhibitions, as far as like their releases. If you had to, just like pinpoint your top, maybe like 3 to 5 brands that you feel like had the best showing.
I guess I got to kind of break that into 2 pieces. If we're talking about the best new products or products, the watches themselves, that's one thing. And then as far as the exhibitions, that's a totally different thing. So I'll just quickly go over the exhibitions themselves. Ulysses Nardin had a crazy exhibition. Probably my favorite one was Van Cleef. Van Cleef they had a crazy fairyland exhibition. It was super dope. Tudor over Rolex. Yeah, that's probably my top. I'll throw AP in there. They had a solid one too. I'll throw AP in there as well. While I'm there, I'll say the ones that were kind of shockingly disappointing. Honestly, the most shockingly disappointing was Patek. Really? So I felt like the whole exhibition was kind of lame. Most exhibitions, like you walk into it and it's like its own space. Patek they did have an inside area, but they did their display all on the exterior. So it was more like you walk up and you kind of walk around, but there was no actual real like space to get into it. Rolex honestly was, I expected more from Rolex, but I mean, I did and I didn't, because we all know how conservative Rolex is. So, they were probably two, and Cartier was kind of boring as well. I expected more from them because they're just such a big brand. Yeah, those are probably the three that I felt were most disappointing. I mean, they all did okay, but I just expected more because they're just such big brands. Rolex, Patek, Cartier, those are your top three, maybe your top three big brands, So it was like, I just felt like they could have did more in the exhibition. Now going to the watches themselves.
Watches, yeah.
So I slightly favor some of this. So I'm a little biased, and I got to be honest with you guys. You guys probably know this, but like I love smaller brands. I like the smaller niche brands. I like the more interesting design language. Don't get me wrong. I love Rolex, but
they're the ones that drive the industry forward in every industry.
I feel like they're the ones that are getting the most popular at this point. Is like a lot of these independents are really starting to gain a lot of steam. So my favorite watch of Watches and Wonders, the one that probably surprised me the most out of everything, is Barron's. Vianney Halter Barron's collab and the Constantin Shaken Barron's collab. And this is a Chinese brand, bro. 100% Chinese. But I was blown away with the quality and how good they were well done. The design was up my alley. It's a watch that I would like. Again, maybe not everybody would, but like I was just blown away by them. And then they had this other piece in there that was like maybe the second lightest watch ever created. I think it was like 8 grams. It's one of their new releases. It was like
the entire watch, 8 grams.
Entire watch is 8 grams.
Amazing.
And it was insane. Like so light. So that was just like a mind blown, because I didn't expect it from a Chinese brand. I ain't gonna lie. Like I just didn't expect it. I'm like, oh, let me go see what it's about. I've seen like brands similar to them, and you kind of always question how good it's actually going to be. But like, man, when I saw that Vianney Halter Barron's, I was like, wow, these guys are serious. So that's something to think about in the watch industry right there, Brandon. Like
just the collaboration along with Vianney Halter. I mean,
Vianney Halter's
it's just top tier.
Yeah, top tier. And Constantin Shaken as well. I mean, so that was my favorite watches right there. I'll get that out of the way. I was also pleasantly surprised with Christian Vanderklaw, the planetary watch that he's got. You see that thing in real life, bro, your jaw hits the floor. Like really? That was like, holy shit, like this is crazy work. Laurent Ferrier was crazy. My other favorite watch, and probably a lot of others, I've heard that this was the watch of Watches and Wonders, and I could probably stand behind that. Parmigiani, the mystery GMT.
The mystery GMT is
I got hands on with that joint.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, the platinum. I got the hands on with the platinum. I forget, it's called like the mystery GMT.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly easy. Just the one button. I thought, man, you're going to have to mess with this. Like once she explained it to me and how it worked, the simplicity of it was like, holy crap. And the other thing that you don't think about with Parmigiani, and I've always I love Parmigiani. I always thought that they're a little plain. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, their dials are just like kind of plain. But when you see the dial, there's actually guilloche on there. And like when I'm sitting here messing around with it in the light, I'm like, dang, this thing it almost looked like mother of pearl, like the way it was playing with the light. And I was like, wow, like I was really super surprised on their dials and how much I actually like the dials when you see them for real. But
Yeah,
yeah, man.
PF is a beautiful man. PF is an amazing brand. Definitely one of those people we call stealth wealth. You know, the King of England literally just visited the White House with a PF, a vintage PF on. So, I love the Tondas. But what they did, they started with the GMT, but now this is the actual Mr. Reese chronograph, where the chronograph is actually hidden behind the hands, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. So people are calling that the watch of watches and wonders right now.
Sorry, chronograph. That's what I meant to say.
No, for sure.
But
I know what you meant.
That watch
GMT was last year. GMT was last year. Yep.
Yeah.
We know what you meant. Yeah.
No, that was crazy. And getting hands on with it was crazy. It really made me freaking want one. I think they retail at like 70, the platinum one, or no, the stainless one I think is the cheapest one they have is like 70 grand. But dude, Parmigiani is super slept on. I feel like their movement finishing is like Patek level damn near. Like it was crazy. I was surprised on how much I actually liked Parmigiani because I was like, I've always respected them, but I didn't know that I necessarily liked them.
Yeah.
But I definitely walked away
your
from
hands on with them. Like that changes everything.
Yeah. Just goes to show, man, you got to get your hands on. You might hate on a watch and think you don't like it. But when you get hands on with it and you talk to somebody about what it is and what they do and the creativity and the innovation behind it, it completely changes your perspective, I feel like.
What was the watch that you thought you would like, but you didn't like when you got hands on with it when you were there? Like, is there anything that kind of disappointed you?
I wouldn't say it disappointed me. Hotchilance came out with a new model, and the way they explained it to me was that they're trying to find more of a signature wearable piece, like an everyday. And the design of it was actually really interesting. I did like it, but the price point, they were charging like 30 grand for it. For like, it's stainless steel, and it's an interesting watch. Don't get me wrong, but like, I wasn't disappointed by the watch itself. I was more like, really 30 some grand for this? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, if you're going to come out with like a signature piece, you want it to be like entry level for the most part. Like, I would get behind it if it was like more entry level. You know what I mean? I could support that, but I mean, this goes back to a conversation we all have a lot of times. It's like, if you got 30 grand in your pocket, what are you going to do with it?
We want a Rolex.
Exactly.
For now, that's my answer for now. I think it'll change once I have a couple of pieces out the way. But absolutely, I'm going to Rolex. I might go to Moser. I mean, it's a lot of different other options, but I'm definitely getting the Rolex and the APs and the Pateks out the way.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like these brands. Every brand should have an entry level piece. You know what I mean? Like just to get young collectors introduced to the brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel like that's what I would love to see more of in the watch industry, so to speak. Is just like we all know these prices are getting crazy, like super crazy, and they're only getting worse. But and that's where like, I feel like the younger generation is getting this disconnect. And that's why you see a lot of these kids, they're busting down G-Shocks because they can't afford a real proper timepiece.
When you say proper, you mean proper luxury?
Yeah, like a proper, like a proper luxury Swiss. I'm talking about like a nice, at Rolex, I feel like they're there. They have an entry-level piece, but if I wanted to, get a Hotchilance entry-level piece, you're going to spend $30,000.
Yeah.
To get a piece on your wrist, Now,
how are they with the waitlisting, exclusivity? How are they? Because I'm not as familiar. So, is it a piece that you can just order?
I think so.
I think a relationship with. Or?
Yeah, I think so, and I think to my surprise too. Now that you bring that up. To my surprise, I think a lot of these smaller brands are probably a lot more accessible than you think they are. Like I had a project presentation, and I'm going to butcher the name, but Ferdinand Berthoud, I think that's how you say it. that brand was super impressive. Like the finishing on that brand is crazy. And they're already considered a high horology brand, and I totally understand why. But talking to the people, I felt like that I could, if I really wanted to, I could probably buy a piece from them. You know what I mean? Like just the way they're kind of talking about things. Um, Another great high horology brand, in my opinion, was Gronfeld. Super impressed with them, bro.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
did this like seven deadly sins watches, and I don't know if they're one of ones probably, but like each watch had a uh, like an artistic dial that featured like a seven deadly sin, gluttony, and each one of those that was really super impressive. And those guys, the Bart and Tim were both there though. They were sitting right next to me, like right there. You can sit down and talk to them. Super cool guys. Very impressed with them.
That's awesome. What was your most memorable moment? Did you get a chance to talk to some of your favorites? Did you go to Hublot? What's going on? Like, talk to me about it.
In any event, it was kind of a last minute thing that I walked through because the line was long and I just didn't feel like waiting. So I waited till Sunday to go to Hublot. I walk up to the line. I didn't have no kind of appointment again. And so I walk up there, and then they kind of just let you in. And I'm walking around, and then I go up to where like all of their sales guys are at. And I'm like, hey, man, I want to get hands on with some of these watches. You think you could, think I might be able to get hands on with some of these?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm part of the family, and they're like, okay. And I kind of laughed about it. And then, so I met with this kid, super cool, super knowledgeable, all their sales reps. So he kind of walks me through their exhibition, and he's like, hey, what do you know about, this material that, about our unscratchable gold, about our sapphire and all this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to him as he's talking back to me. And he's like, okay, this guy knows his shit, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
clearly.
So he's like, all right, yeah, man, do you want to get hands on with the new watches? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because I really wanted to check out the new Usain Bolt, which is a crazy piece, bro. Like that's really nice. And he helped design that. So
really?
He actually sat down and helped design that piece. So that was really, really interesting. But I wanted to check out that piece. So he's like, all right, brings me to the back. We try on their new releases, their standard new releases.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just kind of going back. I'm hitting it off with the dude. And then next thing I know, he's like, I'm kind of talking to him about, what I appreciate about Hublot. I'm kind of dropping the fact that I'm aware of Julien. I'm like, hey, I like what Julian's doing with the brand. I was like, I've noticed a different trajectory with the brand since he's kind of became CEO. I love the direction that he's taken the brand. He's like, okay, yeah, that's cool, man. He's like, hey, you know how they do these things. They're like, hey, you want to go check out the masterpieces? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go check out the masterpieces. So he invites me so I go from the room in the back to the other room in the back. And I walk in, and you could tell, like, these are probably people that working at Hublot, the executives of Hublot. They're all at like a bar back there, and they're all just standing over there. I didn't really nothing caught my eye. So I'm just like keeping my head down, going to look at the watches. So next thing I know, I'm walking, and he's showing me the masterpieces, bro. And these masterpieces are just mind blowing. These are like one-of-one pieces, very limited in numbers. I got to see just all their every single one of their masterpieces back there. And then he sits me down, and again, like I'm just kind of like talking to the dude, and there's a bunch, the group of people are behind, they're all at the bar kind of drinking. And then next thing I know, he kind of whispers over to this girl, and he whispers in her ear, and then they're kind of talking in French, back and forth. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about, and then they're shaking their head. So I'm thinking that he's like maybe just going to show me something crazy or whatever. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Next thing I know, guess who comes strolling around the table which I didn't notice at first. I don't know how I didn't, but none other than the man himself, Julien Tornare, CEO of Hublot. And he comes up and he shakes my hand and, he does my introduction or whatever. To my surprise, Julian's like, hey, I know you. Where do I know you from? He's like, I know you from somewhere. And I follow him, and he follows me on Instagram or whatever. I don't even know if he manages his own Instagram. You know what I mean? I didn't think he did. Maybe he does, but so it's like, maybe you know me from Instagram, I'm Dave, watch you, blah, blah, blah. Not like I'm somebody or anything, but so I'm talk to him. He's like, yeah, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And then he sits down and we have some conversations that, I'm probably not at liberty to talk about some of the new things that are going on. I can say, I don't think that any of this stuff has been publicly released yet. That's why I'm not going to say anything specifically about it. But, there's he's answering a lot of people's questions. He's attacking a lot of things that people have opinions about. He didn't shy away from anything. I mean, I sat down with him for a good probably 15, 20 minutes, and I talked to him straight up. I was like, look,
that's phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Pricing. I mean, I'm talking to you about, hey, man, what's going on with the Salida movements, bro? And he had an answer, and he didn't shy away from anything. Answered it like a pure gentleman, was super down to earth and cool about it. And yeah, bro, we had a great conversation, so much so that his kids were in there, and he calls over his son. He's got one of his sons' name is Noah. And I thought this was also very impressive about him, and probably goes a lot to speak about him as a father and a family man. But he brings his son up, and his son's probably 20, something like that. And he's like, hey, this is my son, Noah. I want you to introduce, this is David. And shakes his hand, nice young gentleman. And he's like, a lot of people don't know this, but he's just getting back from, his son's in the Swiss Army. And apparently his son took shrapnel in the neck, bro, in the jugular. He had a scar from here to here, a big, thick scar on his neck. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't know if he was in battle or something. I didn't get into detail because I was like, I don't know if this is a touchy subject, but he was just like, yeah, I'm back. I took shrapnel in the neck. And I'm like, dude, does this kid have to enroll in the Army? Probably not, but as a young man, a real young man, he's in the Army, and your dad's the CEO of Hublot, that I feel like that says a lot of volume about somebody, it says a lot about somebody with that kind of stuff and the kids that you raise. And he was just a proper young gentleman, super cool kid. And, but I thought that was wow, bro, this kid took one to the jugular, shrapnel, some kind of explosive went off, and
wow,
he lived through it. So, God bless him for that, and that was just really, really cool. But yeah, bro, that's the highlight that's completely the highlight of my Watches and Wonders, was being able to sit down with Julien. And let's just say I'm sitting there just kind of talking to him. I said, yeah, I do a little bit of content here and there. And he just sits down plain as day, like we're having the conversation right now, and says, oh, man, yeah, you should come check out. We're having a private event. I'm going to be doing some new stuff in New York, and I'd love to invite you out. I was like, well, yeah, of course. Absolutely. He's like, all right, hey, man, here's my cell phone number. Grabs my phone out of my hand, airdrops his cell phone number onto my phone, which I have right here.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So kind of experience?
Hit me up when you're ready to go.
That kind of experience right there is kind of what a lot of watch enthusiasts and collectors want to have, and it grows a different attachment. How have that elevated Hublot as far as the hierarchy of watches that you truly enjoy and love, but that kind of experience can really elevate that? Tell me about that.
I mean, here's the thing, and I kind of noticed this, and you guys probably did too online. I don't think there's a bigger brand online that responds to more comments and interacts with people online than Hublot. Nobody else does it. I promise you, even when I first was getting started, if I tagged Hublot or something, or I made a comment on their post, they'd comment back immediately. If I reshared it, thanks for sharing. Blah, blah, blah. I said that to Julien. I said, I'm in it. We do it all the time. I'm tagging brands all the time. Some of them you don't really hear about. I'll do a 3-minute long piece on how much I love this brand, and like I get nothing, airball. But Hublot, they are just so engaged. And I think that's probably a philosophy throughout the company, because when I walked out of there, what do? I look out and I see Julian's giving tours, bro, to like just the people that are coming. He's giving tours to regular people as a CEO, getting hands on with the people, just explaining all the stuff. And like, that is what creates a culture to me within a brand. So that just like, to me, again, like it just like it speaks so highly to the brand. And I'm not saying this is like just because I like Hublot. I'm just saying it in the watch community. You guys know this as well. You don't get that kind of love a lot of times. The little guys, aren't getting that kind of love. Let me look at Rolex, bro. Like, are you going to get that kind of customer service from Rolex? You're gonna get thrown on a wait list. You're lucky if they even take your number down, right? But I found the complete opposite with Hublot. I mean, and say what you want. I'm just being real. I'm just giving you the facts. That's all.
Absolutely.
You guys can go there and interact with Hublot yourselves and see. That dude is a down to earth guy. That whole culture is they're just on point. And I think it's probably just something that they're like doing internally to, really push that narrative.
That's that's an amazing experience. And that's why you go to events like this. I'm sure you didn't have that on your bingo card going to Watches and Wonders, that you actually would have a chance to sit down with the CEO of Hublot. That's amazing. So was Watches and Wonders what you thought it would be prior to attending the event? And will you attend in the future?
It was definitely what I thought it would be. Probably a little bit more so. I would say it is for the most part. And I did a lot of research behind it. So I saw videos like of past Watches and Wonders. So I did have a general idea of how it would be going into it. But I was surprised on how friendly people were. I was expecting more snobbery, because I just feel like sometimes, when we get into these spaces, you come across that. But to be perfectly honest with you, like everybody was so welcoming. For the most part, everybody was super willing to like talk to you about the brand. Like Gerard Perregaux, I went into Roger Dubois. Like this lady is just like comes up to me and she's just like, "You want to see this?" And like takes me back and shows me this all gold Excalibur, which was freaking insane. And like, it was just incredible. And I found like, it was so welcoming. So that was probably the most surprising part about it. And then the level of grandiose with some of the exhibitions was also pretty surprising to me.
Absolutely. Rod, I want to ask you, like, because I know we didn't go, but what was one of your like top 3 brand showings? It don't have to be specific watches. It could be what they just offered as a brand in general.
No, so that's a good question. And you took the question I was going to ask you. So no, the first one that come to mind obviously was Parmigiani Ferrier. Obviously, I mean that chronograph. I think when I think about Watches and Wonders 2026, that the first watch that comes to mind for me. It's shit amazing. It's amazing, honestly. Also, that Cartier Santos Dumont, the gold one. They released, man. I hope to get hands on with it soon. This is when I wish I would have went out to Geneva this year, but I feel like that's one that came to mind for me. I think Vacheron had a good showing as well with their overseas dual time releases. Like I recently got hands on with the Vacheron here locally at a jeweler, and I would say Vacheron's definitely growing on me. I got some things I need to take care of before I, elevate to Vacheron. But I'll say those are the 3, that come to mind for sure. The PF, the Cartier Santos Dumont Gold, and then the Vacheron. But I like what Van Cleef did. Obviously, I feel like when you think Van Cleef, you think of them as like high end, like women's jewelry, like fine jewelry, like for women, but they're they're a legit watchmaker, and I love that a lot of these. I love that a lot of these fashion houses aren't, they're like debunking like the fashion watch myth. Obviously, LVMH is doing their thing. Chanel's ascending fast. Hermes, and like you said, Van Cleef had a great showing as well. So those are some Chopard. So yeah, those are the ones that like come to mind for sure. How about you?
I don't know. You just said like 10, bro. So
Yeah, I know. I was ready. I was ready.
You was ready.
No.
Seriously, I'm gonna definitely piggyback off the Cartier. I think Cartier had an amazing showing. I really did love their Santos Dumont with the mesh bracelet. Now they actually have the in gold as well. Phenomenal piece. They brought the roaster back. They got the roaster with a rubber strap. That's like a unique piece, if you will. If it's something that draws your eye, you will be happy that they brought that back to bring back their their drive racing history. JLC's integrated piece, especially in that rose gold, like it's the ultra thin, like it's absolutely fire. With hopping into like a sports model with an integrated bracelet. I love what they did there. I was very because when we say watches and wonders, it's still like some of the releases right before. So Recepi flyback chronograph, loved Recepi, what they've been doing. That piece was amazing. That was like a couple days before the actual watch and wonders, if you will. De Bethune, what the two models that they dropped. I love the purple one. I think it's the Sands.
I thought we were sticking to watches and wonders, man. You cheating now.
They released it for watches. They released it for the week or two before, like to get the head start. That's so that is watch and wonders.
Yeah.
I
stuck to the rules. Rules. All good.
That's what they do.
But you're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right.
And Rolex. I like Rolex. Definitely like the Day-Date. I really want to get hands-on with the Jubilee gold. Jubilee gold with the it's like an aventurine green dial that they have with the Day-Date.
That was my favorite.
I think the polarizing kind of piece is the $60,000 Daytona that's in steel with the platinum around the bezel and the case back. It's not necessarily porcelain, but the porcelain type dial. A lot of people calling it the albino, or if you will.
It's enamel. But it's not. A lot of people were saying that it's Grand Few enamel. That's a correction. It's not Grand Few. It's just enamel.
Okay. Yep. So I think I really like that piece. And we probably will never, ever get our hands on that piece from a lot of the ADs that I've spoken with. They you probably just won't even get a chance to even see this piece. If you do, they might get one and never see it ever. And that's because a really important buyer just wants to buy it from that local AD. Not because Rolex wanted to send it to them to give it to who they wanted to, if that makes sense, right? But I do think it's. I think I love what they did there, and I know that they're not done. I know that they have something coming out soon, and they're going to continue to celebrate the 100 years of Oyster Perpetual. I know they are, and I know that some people didn't like some of their offerings. I like Rolex, so I like what they did. I wasn't blown back, right? Yeah. I think what happens to me, and I think where people don't realize a lot of times with Rolex is sometimes it's not about the initial impact. The reason why they're a story brand is because that watch sits with you, and over time, you get to have who that watch is related to. Who did you see wearing that watch? What moment was that? When you first got yours, what was the impact to you? So, for example, the Oyster Perpetual that came out with the 18 karat bezel, right?
The 100th anniversary.
the 100th anniversary, right? You might not care about that watch whatsoever. You might go somewhere and see somebody wearing it and have a great conversation, and you just looking at that watch. Now you're impacted by that watch over time to now that you start a journey to try to get one of those watches, right? People think that it's got to be, because as much as we talk about the PF Tonda, as much as we talk about the Freak, how many times are you guys going to see that in the wild? Not a lot, more than likely. So it's not. So it's an amazing impact. It's an amazing watch. What they've done with it, it's a novelty that you see about and you hear about this time of the year, and then you see Hodinkee and all these other different places talk about it. But in real life, you may not come across it. Now we're building our platforms and stuff to where might be in circles where we might see more of these pieces, right? But in everyday life, that's not where you're going to see these pieces. You're going to likely see a lot of these Rolex pieces in everyday life. So if you come across an executive or you go to a convention or go to a meeting just in your regular work life and you see somebody or their wife wearing that new Celebration dial, it's going to catch your eye. Now you created a moment with that watch. And I think that's one of the parallels that people get wrong with Rolex. It's not crazy innovation, impact, crazy backflips and fireworks. What it is an emotional attachment that you built with because you found it and grew a relationship with that. And then now you went on your journey to go seek it for yourself. And that's how they create regular icons, So I think people will like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more with that, actually.
Bro, you was too, man. I appreciate you sharing your experiences with us, man, and keep sharing your experiences in some of the videos and stuff that you have on your page, man. Like, definitely, please share your page with everybody, please.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, that's so you can find me on IG. It's Dave_the_watch_dude on Instagram, and then you can find me on TikTok. Same handle. So come check me out. I'm slowly trickling out all my content little by little. A lot of cool. I got really good footage of most of the product presentations that I did. So I just put out one with Angelus and Arnold and Son, bro. Like, I don't know, like I'm just going to slide this in there.
Wow.
Arnold and Son, that dial, which was, I forget the name of the stone, but it looks like a freaking ocean. Like it, super dope. Who knew, right? And then that tinkler that they dropped, the quarter repeater, also quarter repeater for $30,000. That's not good value, and it was good value. Yeah, absolutely. super dope watch. But yeah, I'm going to keep trickling things out, so keep an eye on stuff. I've got a lot still coming.
Absolutely. Final thoughts, Rod?
Man, I need to get out to Geneva next year. Yeah, man, glad you had the opportunity to go, man. Thank you for sharing your experience as well. And man, we got a lot more in store for you guys. And that's all I got. Rio, you got anything?
Nope, man. Dave, once again, appreciate you for joining the show and keeping us like abreast of everything that was going on, man. We were excited for you like we were going. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely want, people to tap in with you. We're going to be working and collaborating and stuff more as well on this Due Time platform. Dave is going to bring you guys different perspective and different energy from his point of view in the watch world to just add to this growing platform that we're doing here at Due Time and the Watchers. So if there's nothing left to say, man, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Rio the Watcher.
Rod Die.
Dave the Watch Dude.
And we are out.